active transport. Here in active transport, transportation takes place through carrier protein. So carrier protein is involved here, and movement of molecules takes place against the concentration gradient. Here this is important thing, against the concentration gradient. That means from low concentration to high concentration. Actually in active transportation it is just opposite to that of passive transport. In passive transport we have seen that molecules are transported from high concentration to low concentration without use of energy. But in this active transport, the energy is used, so expenditure of energy is required because transportation is against a concentration gradient from low concentration to high concentration gradient, and it requires energy in the form of ATP. That means phosphorylation and dephosphorylation of the ATP, cyclic phosphorylation and dephosphorylation. Active transport are of two types. The one is primary active transport and secondary active transport. Primary active transport, which is called sodium potassium pump, and it is also called as antiport. Transportation against concentration gradient. Again same thing, same sentence, transportation against concentration gradient. It directly related with the chemical energy ATP. And how this transportation takes place? By carrier protein molecule. That carrier protein is ATPase enzyme protein. This ATPase enzyme protein is responsible for transportation of sodium and potassium simultaneously. So here in this case what happened? The example is sodium potassium pump, the best example of primary active transport. Okay, so sodium is pumped out of the cell and potassium is pumped into the cell. Means sodium is pumped from inside to outside and potassium is pumped from outside to inside, and this is a coupled process. That means it is occurring simultaneously. It occurs simultaneously, and since this is a coupled process and this is against the concentration gradient, if in the absence of any one of these ion, in the absence of sodium or potassium, this completely stops. The sodium potassium completely stops. So in the absence of either sodium or potassium, movement of both stops. Okay. Integrated protein called sodium and potassium, and which protein? That carrier protein. Sodium and potassium transportation is ATPase is responsible. This is we have seen here also. ATPase enzyme protein is for this transportation of the ion pump, and this protein, ATPase protein, it has two functional sites for attachment of the sodium as well as potassium. In this diagram we can see this is that protein, ATPase protein for transportation. These are the two functional sites for attachment. These sites, these three sockets, that is for sodium attachment, and these two sockets, that is for potassium attachments. Okay, and here one socket is there, that is for ATP attachment. So it has functional attachment sites on both the surfaces. This is a process of cyclic phosphorylation and dephosphorylation. What happened here we can explain through this diagram. This protein ATPase, here the ATP phosphorylation of ATPase takes place. Phosphorylation of ATP takes place. This sodium, this is attached here. Here the sodium is attached, and after attachment of sodium, the phosphorylation of the sodium ATP takes place. And this phosphorylation of ATP releases the energy, and it causes the change in the protein configuration. how the protein configuration is changed. The protein, this side is closed and this other side is open. So one side is open and the previous side is closed, and that's why sodium is released outside. Sodium is released outside. And at the same time, what happened? The potassium enters inside and potassium attached here, and after that dephosphorylation of ATP brings the protein into back position. That means again in the previous position the protein comes and the potassium enters inside. So this is a coupled process and this simultaneously occurring. So same thing is written here. Binding of sodium is required phosphorylation of ATPase, which results into reorientation of enzyme protein within the membrane, causing sodium to pump from inside to outside. Similarly, dephosphorylation may result in binding of potassium, bringing the protein to original conformation and transport of potassium from outside to inside. So this is all about sodium potassium pump. This diagram I have already explained to you how the sodium potassium simultaneous pump takes place. Now the next point is secondary active transport. The secondary active transport is called co-transport, or it is also called as symport. This transport depends on chemical energy or electrochemical gradient, or it is called membrane potential. Example of this transportation is glucose with sodium in intestinal epithelium. This co-transport of glucose with sodium, co-transport in intestinal epithelium. Outside, electrochemical gradient of this sodium ion is used to transport glucose against the concentration gradient. What does it mean? This sentence is important here. Look here in this diagram. This outside, in the outside, sodium concentration is high and glucose concentration is low. Again I repeat, outside sodium concentration is high. Why it is high? Because in the sodium potassium pump, sodium is pumped out from inside to outside. Sodium is more and more pumped out. That's why sodium concentration increases outside. Glucose concentration is low, and inside glucose concentration is high, sodium concentration is low. Okay, so glucose cannot enter from outside to inside because outside there is a low concentration, so naturally it cannot enter from low concentration to high concentration. But sodium, it is high concentrated, and this sodium wants to enter inside the cell. Sodium wants to enter inside the cell because positive charge potential difference. The sodium wants to enter inside, and this is called the chemoosmotic energy or electrochemical gradient. This phenomenon is called electrochemical gradient, and this electrochemical energy is used by the cell for the transportation of glucose along with the sodium in the inside. Glucose and sodium co-transport is catalyzed by glucose carrier protein. High concentration of sodium outside has tendency to enter the cell cytoplasm. This results the transportation of glucose, sodium or amino acid sodium. In this way, these glucose, amino acids, they are transported from outside to inside by using the electrochemical gradient or chemoosmotic energy of sodium. So this is about the primary and secondary active transport, and we stop here. Thank you.